All right, guys, here at Plant Daddy Express, I got a customer leaving. I did a ton of sales today, and it is not over. I got more people coming. I want to make a video. I'll probably get interrupted, but we will see, basically. So I got Phlox, and then the Chick Charms. I've got the Lemon Waves, and then the Mint Marvel Hens and Chicks. And all these are going to be producing a ton of babies, but I planted those in the pea gravel and stuff. But I've also got the other Sun Sparkler sedums, Sapphire Tuffet, Dream Dazzler, and then the Neon Nova. Both of these sedums right here have been selling like crazy. So you can see the amount of empty spaces and stuff, and I'm really excited to watch those plants grow. But basically, I got the gardens and stuff looking pretty decent. I got the sparkly rocks and stuff, and the lotus blossoms. I'm telling you guys, I am excited about these plants. So, I keep on selling a bunch of these plants because the colors are crazy, and they're not even growing that much. So I wish I would have made this video earlier, but I've been so darn busy because I had, one of a couple different plants that I don't think I'll ever really have, or who knows, maybe I'll pick up some more. And I sold some of these Angelina sedums. Sold a bunch of those today, and then I sold out of a Camp sedum or something like that, and haven't really sold too many of these or any of these because they're just not growing enough yet. But these sedums are gonna be selling, and the time some things just aren't selling, so that tells you I gotta get a ton more of these going, and a lot less of some things. But these right here are the salvias that are blue and white. I'm telling you guys, for the past couple years, I've been wanting to get these salvias. And, this video, I'm going to talk about a lot of plants. But, you can see, apparently I'm not the greatest at growing my own dang plants. But, I got these violet riots, and then that one's called Azure Snow. These things, not too impressed. These are all right, but this year I had a bunch. The shrub selection this year has been great, and I wish like I said, I keep on wishing that I would have made this video earlier because I keep selling a bunch. This weekend has been massive. And but this one right here, not Blue Point, but it is Blue Star Juniper. That combined with the candy corn spirea has been great. But I got a 9 bark, another 9 bark. These barberries haven't been selling amazingly, but I did sell 3 of these to someone. Those are the Sunjoys. But then I've also been selling some of these baskets. These are 15 bucks here at Plant Daddy Express, and 15's a pretty reasonable price. And then this basket is a fuchsia basket that probably gonna need watered soon, and these are baskets I planned on just having pretty much for myself. I'm not gonna sell those, but obviously this whole thing was filled. And then I got another basket I gotta talk about. But bombshell hydrangeas, I had Korean dwarfs, and then I had some Miss Kims, and of course I sold all the Miss Kims apparently. So, and the one was absolutely loaded with blooms. But I got Bobo hydrangeas over here, and then the little quick fire, I sold some of those. Other spireas this year, I got a bunch of stuff, but better than any other year. But then you got raspberries, gooseberries, goji berries, raspberries, different varieties, and then stuff growing out. But you see the empty spaces, and then you also see the not so empty spaces. So the things without bench cards aren't really selling, so I need to get a ton of those made very soon. Very tough to sell a plant like that when there's no blooms, but they'll be blooming soon. Just sold one of the bubble bath alliums, but the things with blooms are selling. The penstemon hasn't really sold this year, too many plants. But this year I've got tons of ajugas, and I was thinking that I was gonna end up selling at least half of them, but they're not selling. These are new for this year, that variety. But it was mainly due to the fact that we had multiple freezes and I couldn't cover everything. But the blue mouse here's hostas, spider wart, and then I've just got hosta variety after hosta variety. I picked up rainforest sunrise and you know, Rainbow's End. Keep on selling things, and those should sell eventually this year probably. You know, I got tons of great things. Water slide, Komodo dragon, I mean strip tees right there. That's got interesting color. Ostrich ferns, I've sold those. And then over here I had a bunch. I straight up gave away my gold standard hostas because I'm like, you know what? This person's buying azaleas. They're buying a laced up elderberry. And then I got pineapple upside down cake. I've got June. Kind of almost took a hit over the winter. But then you got some in substance, just massive. And then, you know, tons of nice things. First frost. And, you know, coral bells are kind of behind for sure. You know, I got horsetail, junipers, Muhlenbergia grass. So I figured I'd be able to sell some of those because I definitely recommend them. But, you know, and this area looked like absolute crap. And then I cleaned it up. These royal purple smoke bushes, highly recommend smoke bushes for sure. But I sold 2 of those, and then I sold a yellow one that literally I couldn't sell last year, and then I sold it this year, getting way more customers. And then I had 2 different people buy a couple of these. So there's a flower bud on it. This plant right here is a laced up elderberry. I'm telling you guys, this laced up elderberry is something special because, I mean, laced up elderberry, you like them dark leaves, like almost black, basically black, purple or whatnot. And then it gets these light pink flowers. And this plant becomes just an ornamental totem pole of color. Because that black, you pair that with a white or other pinks or literally any plant, and it'll just poke up through. Imagine a group of like 3 of these or 5 or who knows how many, or just one, you know, with some light pink grasses, you know, with the seed heads are pink growing, and you know, the textures pairing off of that would be absolutely amazing because these Muhlenbergia grasses with them tiny thin, you know, flowy blades and then the pink seed heads, I mean, come on. You know, then I've got maiden grass that's green. I've got Shenandoah grass, apple trees. I've got Annabelle hydrangeas, you know, a bunch of planters. Morning light grass. This one right here, I probably should not have bought these, but you know, I got them and hopefully I'll be able to sell them to someone, you know, for 15 bucks a piece. This one right here is called standing ovation grass. You know, write that down, Google it. These are a blue and purple grass. You know, and then I got redhead grass. That one was looking amazing on the mound over there. And then over here, I mean, I just picked these up. Highly recommend trying one of these because look at the colors on that. I'm telling you guys, Plant Daddy Express, the place to go this year for perennials. And you know, Blue Eddie ornamental onions, if you want something that stays short, you pop that in with a couple other plants, and full sun does great. And then these plants right here, anytime I get a flower, they sell pretty much. But these over here, the pink lemonade baptisia, so these are a yellow with a nice pinkish purple, you know, to the flowers. And you know, that's a really nice one. But just check out the bright coloration of them barberries. Again, this one right here, Rosie Robin. This one, I mean, they're so vibrant. I feel like I should move them. Like there's something about positioning of plants. You could position a plant that's a diamond, and if it's in the wrong area, I mean, even if it's visible, I feel like the psychology just plays. There's just something that happens. And these plants, if I move them, then maybe they'd sell better. But you know, then you got Cordial Canary that's just very vibrant. And then you got these. I haven't sold a single one. Can you imagine that? You know, thinking about going and picking up some more plants. And today is Mother's Day, so that thing right there isn't a plant, but it's a plant mom crew neck. Those colors are great. Get your mom one of those. $25. You know, $25 is pretty good. A bunch of coral bell colors. You know, I've been making some good sales. I made 2 sales that were you know, $400 or whatnot, which that was pretty good. No crazy sales or anything like that, but you know, again, the Lakeside Paisley print, Candy Tuft. I got Bleeding Hearts here, but can you imagine that I haven't sold a single one of those this, I guess I sold one yesterday. And but yeah, those things, I mean, they're just not flowering right now, so that's why I'm not selling them. And I've sold them the past 2 years. You know, drinking gourd, you got time in a bottle. Someone's deciding to shoot when I'm making a video, so I guess I'm just gonna have to keep on recording. So, and then the autumn frost hostas, I mean, you can't get too much better than that, you know. But I've got Halcyon or Halcyon, or I think it's Halcyon. I'm just gonna call those Halcyon. But you know, more autumn frost hostas growing out. Last year they were nice, but you know, the Halcyon were a super nice blue color. And then this light to match, I don't know if it needs more sun, but that's a really nice collector's item. But other than that, these are not for sale currently. But I got, you know, that one's, I think, Ripple Effect. And then you got the Hyuga Irijiro. You're gonna have to convince me to sell you one of them for like 40 bucks, because that's something special. But you know, then I've got some not for sale plants. You know, sorry for showing you plants that aren't for sale, making you all excited, but I'm hoping to sell some of those eventually. And then a Stilby, you know, I got the bench card. I really need to write that these are $14 only. I mean, I'm telling you, $14. You can't get these plants bigger and better with more buds and blooms that are about to grow on these things. So basically, I've got a bunch of varieties, and I had a couple of plants in the shade house over there, but basically you got a light pink variety, you got a really dark pink variety. You know, the flower bud, you can just see. This one's a white, and then these are peach. I've sold a bunch of those, and then Sprite Astilbe is a really pretty one as well. I've been growing out a bunch as well. You got Peach Brandy, Tom Terrific, Clear Fork River Valley growing out. And then today I sold one of these, and I got someone else coming for some hostas, but this is a First Blush. If you're in a hostas, look up First Blush. It's a, you know, one of the first blushers, I guess. And then this one right here is Lord Puckersheen. Who knows, maybe I'll sell that one to the woman that's coming today. And then 3 customers ago today, I sold one of these. I sold some other ones of these today, or past couple days. This one right here, you know, is called Empress Woo. And so if you know anything about hostas, I'm telling you guys, last year I went to a hosta collector's house. My middle finger went to about the halfway point, almost not even, on a mature leaf. So if you can imagine that, this leaf is, you know, they can get huge and then super wide. This plant can get 3 to 4 foot tall, absolutely huge, massive. And, you know, I've got so many plants this year. It is ridiculous, you know. And just wait till some of these other things are blooming. You know, obviously I'm going to continue selling. At some point I'm going to have to say, you know what, I'm just going to not get any more plants, and I'm just going to sell. And then I'm going to hold off. And then after that, I'm going to be growing out a bunch of plants. So, you know, I got tons of things you know, I got this is a ground cover. Forget that name. You know it, probably. Creeping Jenny, sorry. And then you got party streamers. I've been mentioning that in every video because these things were crazy last year. Fast growing hosta, you know. And then you got the Alchemila Thriller. Touch of Class is kind of not as impressive as I was wanting it to be, because it definitely got hit by what looks like a disease, but that's actually just frost damage, and then just too much moisture, I think. And then the Silly String hostas, come on. Why have I not been selling more of these? I mean, I know why, because it kind of took a hit in the, you know, I guess I should post more pictures of the Silly String. If you guys are in a hostas, get some of these. These things are still kind of waking up, still kind of growing. Last year they were bigger than this, so they still got more growing to do, but plants are always going to grow. And I got a ton of these, because if the hosta lovers come and buy some of my hostas, they're probably going to get a couple of these Bottle Rocket Ligularia, because this one right here, I'm pretty sure it was a proven winners plant. Ligularia bred to flower great. I mean, 20 bucks, 22 bucks. Unique leaves. I got lamium for a ground cover, but then you got island breeze. You got lettuce wrap. You got cherry brandy. Not cherry brandy. Yeah, cherry cheesecake. You got avocado toast. Someone's coming for one of those. Then you got light the match cherry cheesecake over there. And then the blue mouse ears. I mean, these things have been growing out since I started growing plants back when I was like 14. I got my first blue mouse ears, and that one blue mouse ears has expanded into all these, and I've been selling, you know, I've sold way more than this. The 1 year is my best seller, so you can imagine how many blue mouse ears hostas I've grown from, I think 1 or 2 or 3 plants. And you got monkey business. If you know hostas, monkey business, that one you know, you shouldn't be selling that one for less than 40 bucks, but it's less than 40 bucks. It's $37. Hogwarts is growing out. Cherry tomato is growing out. I got a bunch of other ones. And then, you know, yesterday I sold some of these, I believe it was. These are Brilliance autumn ferns. So if you like ferns, then get some of these if you don't have them. But then if you don't like ferns, then get some of these, then you start to like ferns, because the Brilliance autumn fern is a really, really, really pretty fern, to where, you know, some people got some last year and then they had to come back to get some more because they loved them that much, because, you know, these are really pretty. And then the maidenhair ferns, I sold one of those so far, but like, come on. Put that along a fallen log, fallen tree, next to a rock, something. Just put it in your shade garden. They can survive winters. Flowers on these happily ever after pig squeak or bergenia. They get big old leaves, and I still got a bunch of them. Wee hosta, curly fries growing out. I got a couple helleborus left, you know, pink ones. And these things need watered, ironically, after all the rain. But, you know, this one right here is Diamond Lake, and I sold the other ones that I had, of course. Sold a bunch of those, you know. And Dancing in the Moonlight, I'm telling you guys, this is one of my favorites, but it's really hard to pick favorites when you got like 60 or 70 varieties of hostas that I've had or have, you know. But you can't get more fancy than that, you know. There's unique, there's fancy, and these things are unique and fancy. I got one of these. I'm telling you guys, I've got customers here that probably have overlooked this one. Customers that have overlooked this one, because when you've got so many plants here to choose from, which, you know, some places have more, but when you got so many plants to choose from, you got plants hidden all over the place. You know, I almost got to take a picture of this, post it, and then, you know, someone will see like, okay, Hunter's got one Herman's Pride for only $16, you know, with popcorn like flowers. I mean, I should have sold this plant already, but I sold 2 of these to someone today with the blue flowers. This is Brunera, a lot of people's favorite plant. And then last year I kept on selling these curly fries hostas. So then you know, I've been growing out a bunch over there, but then I ordered some more in because I'm crazy like that. And you got Wiggles and Squiggles. Someone was really contemplating buying one of the Love Story hostas, but since I got so many options, they were like deciding whether or not to buy this one or 15 other varieties. So it's like they put this one back, but this one is a really, really, really pretty one. It's a newer Proven Winners variety. But then I got a couple Liberty hostas. I got a two Woo La Las Coast to Coast. And so many plants. I've sold out of a couple things. I got Praying Hands, White Feather, you know, so many plants. So many plants to choose from, guys. So over here I had a big section of, you know, the magenta pinks, Dianthus, and someone came and bought all of them. They said that they wanted 12 or something like that. So then they bought all of the ones I had, plus a couple of Fire Witch Dianthus. And these plants here, you know, I've got one on my mound, but of course it's on the back side, so people can't really see it. But the flower buds you know, loaded. And then these are about to flower, starting to flower now. You know, that's a variety of Nepeta. And this is a type of plant that, like, you know, if I go buy more plants to sell, I'm gonna have to get more of those because I keep selling them. And I'm expecting the next 3 weekends at least to be very, very busy here at Plant Daddy Express, because the Lemon Perfection, I haven't sold a single one of these, but probably because I sold a bunch of other ones. A Lemon Perfection Nepeta, like, you know, I gotta sell these. I probably should sell these and sell some of those and sell some of the other stuff before I pick up more plants, because it's like, you know, I gotta calm down. But then, you know, I got people coming here who's wanting specific things, and then, you know, I'm trying to make everyone happy, but I can't do that. And, you know, I can't have absolutely everything, and, you know, I'm only one person. But the Russian sage, I've been selling a ton of those, and I picked up more because I didn't have enough, and then now I have almost enough. Crazy daisies, purple cone flowers. I've been growing out tons of things over there. I got a bunch of daylilies. I just sold an Agustache, whatever. And, but the mounds are doing good. Here at Plant Daddy Express, I got, you know, a ton of things to look at, you know, in pots, the tags, everything. But then I got, you know, ornamental trees all across the mound growing out, because I want to sell those eventually and graft those. But then I've got just perennial after perennial after perennial, tons of grasses. I mean, just on this mound, I've got, you know, 6 or, I don't know, different varieties of grass. I mean, I got that one, I got that one, I got that one, that one, that one, that one. Too many grasses, 6 different varieties. I got a customer pulling in, so I'm gonna have to end this real quick. But, you know, I've got 8 varieties of yarrow, you know, nice pathway. Got an asparagus popping up too. Carl Forster grass, and then chameleon grass, yarrow. And I'm just gonna walk around and not talk anymore, guys. Just stop on out and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I got lots and lots of plants here at Plant Daddy Express. I'm sure there's people watching in other states, you know. A whole bunch of plants, guys, and I keep on selling, and I sold out of some great plants that I wish I would have, you know, showed you guys before. But no editing to this video at all. So, you know. That's great. That's great. You made it in the video.